What if I told you the biggest lie you were ever taught was to just be yourself? Look around you. Who actually wins in this world? Is it the worker who's honest about hating his job, or the one who smiles, shakes hands, and plays the game? Is it the celebrity who reveals every flaw, or the one who carefully curates their image, becoming larger than life? Even your boss, do you think they got there by being authentic? Or by playing roles, wearing masks, and saying exactly what people wanted to hear until they had power? The truth is brutal. The world doesn't reward who you are. It rewards who you appear to be. And here's the part most people never want to face. You are not broken because of bad luck. You are broken because you were trained to play life like prey, obedient, predictable, and disposable. Machiavelli, one of history's most feared thinkers, saw this centuries ago. He wrote The Prince not to comfort the weak, but to arm the ambitious. His wisdom wasn't about being good, it was about becoming untouchable. So here's my warning. If you came to this video for comfort, you won't find it here. What you will find is the blueprint to rebuild yourself like a strategist, a ruthless one. And because Machiavelli knew, to rise from weakness, you must destroy who you are, rebuild your mask, and play the world like a chessboard where everyone else is just a pawn. Stay with me till the very end, because I'm not just going to tell you how to rebuild yourself. I'm going to give you 5 brutal principles Machiavelli used to turn fragile men into forces of power. And the final principle? That's the one most people die never mastering. And it's why they stay trapped in lives that don't belong to them. If you're ready to stop being prey and start becoming a strategist, then let's begin. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince who comes to power must destroy the old order, root and branch." And here's where most people fail. They try to build a new life on top of their old habits, their old fears, their old excuses. But what happens when you build a fortress on rotten foundations? It collapses. Every single time. So the first step to rebuilding yourself like a strategist is this. Burn the old you. Think about it. You say you want discipline, but you still keep the same distractions in your room. You say you want power, but you still hang out with people who drain you. You say you want respect, but you still act like the same nice guy who never says no. That's not rebuilding. That's repainting a crumbling wall. Here's the raw fact. The person you are right now is perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are. Your identity, your routines, your circle. They were built to maintain your current life, not create the one you want. If you want to rise, you must commit an act of destruction. Delete the apps that waste your hours, cut off the friend who secretly resents you. Break the habits that keep you small, even if it feels like killing a part of yourself. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, you'll feel lost. But in Machiavelli's world, destruction isn't chaos, it's strategy. Because only after the old order burns, can something stronger rise in its place. But here's the problem. If you burn the old you, what do you replace it with? Machiavelli had an answer for that, and it's not what you think. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few truly know what you are." And that line is brutal, because it exposes the truth we spend our whole lives avoiding. The world doesn't care about your inner goodness, your hidden struggles, or your authentic soul. The world only reacts to the image you present. Think about it. On social media, do people actually know who you are? Or do they only know the highlight reel you choose to post? At work, do people care about your feelings? Or do they judge you by your confidence, your composure, your ability to look like you have it under control? Even in relationships, how many times have you been overlooked because you showed your softness too soon, while someone else, colder and more controlled, got the respect? Here's the Machiavellian truth. People don't follow authenticity. They follow strength. They follow the mask. So if you want to rebuild yourself, you must craft a new mask, an identity that projects exactly what you want others to believe. Not lies, not delusion. Strategy. You don't tell people your weaknesses. You don't bleed in front of an enemy. You reveal only what serves your power. And here's the shocking fact. Even the people you admire, your leaders, your idols, your mentors, they are masks. Behind closed doors, they're flawed, insecure, human. But in public, they wear armor, and that's why they rise. So stop thinking your true self will save you. The world rewards the mask, and if you can master perception, you can bend reality itself. But here's the catch. What happens when people test that mask? When they push, when they challenge, when they see if the strength you project is real. That's where Machiavelli's third lesson cuts the deepest. Machiavelli's most infamous line, "It is much safer to be feared than loved." At first it sounds monstrous, but think about your own life. How many people claimed to love you until it stopped being convenient? The friend who disappeared the moment you needed them. The partner who swore loyalty until someone better came along. The company that said you were family, right before they replaced you with someone cheaper. Love is conditional, love is fragile, love abandons you the moment you fail to deliver. But fear lasts. Here's the brutal psychology. When people love you, they give you affection. When people fear you, they give you respect. And respect will outlast affection every single time. That doesn't mean you become cruel for no reason. It means you stop chasing approval. You stop begging to be liked. You stop softening yourself to fit into people's comfort zones. Because here's the truth. People may smile to your face when they love you, but they obey you when they respect you. And when you rebuild yourself, your foundation must not be love. It must be strength. But here's the problem. Fear and respect can only carry you so far. If you cling to one strategy forever, you'll eventually be destroyed. And that's why Machiavelli's next lesson is darker still. To survive long term, you must master the art of ruthless adaptation. Machiavelli warned, a man who always tries to be good will come to ruin among so many who are not. And that line reveals the core of power. Rigidity is death. Most people chain themselves to an identity. I'm the loyal friend. I'm the nice guy. I'm the hard worker who never complains. And then life crushes them because they refuse to bend when the game changes. Look at politics. A politician who refuses to adapt when the tide turns. Finished. Look at business. A company that clings to old methods when the market shifts. Bankrupt. Look at people you know. The friend who can't move on from a breakup. The worker who refuses to learn new skills. Life leaves them behind. Here's the Machiavellian truth. To survive, you must be loyal until betrayal serves you better. Kind until cruelty protects you more. Silent until speaking gains you power. Your only loyalty is to survival and growth. Think of water. It has no shape, but it wears down mountains. It takes the shape of whatever container it's poured into. That's the kind of adaptability Machiavelli demanded. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must stop clinging to permanent labels. Stop worshiping consistency. Be fluid. Be unpredictable. Be ready to become whatever the moment requires. Because in a world of rigid people, the one who adapts is untouchable. But there's one final truth, and it's Machiavelli's darkest. Because even the most adaptable will eventually fall, unless they master the art of controlling the story of their fall. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are judged by the result." And that single sentence is terrifying because it means no one cares about your excuses, your intentions, or your suffering. They care about the story. Think about history. Julius Caesar wasn't remembered for being stabbed. He was remembered as a godlike ruler, whose death became legend. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, and instead of being forgotten, he turned his exile into the myth of a visionary who returned stronger. Even modern celebrities, when they fall from grace, the ones who rise again, are the ones who own the story of their downfall. Here's the Machiavellian truth. Failure is inevitable. You will fall. You will be betrayed. You will make mistakes. But failure does not destroy you. Being seen as destroyed does. So when you fall, you must seize the narrative. If you're rejected, frame it as redirection. If you lose, frame it as sacrifice. If you break, frame it as transformation. Because people don't remember what happened to you. They remember the story you told about it. This is the final step of rebuilding yourself, turning even your destruction into power. Because the strategist never dies. They only shift forms. That's why most people never escape weakness. They let the world tell their story instead of writing it themselves. So here it is. If you want to rebuild yourself like a strategist, you cannot be soft. You cannot be sentimental. You cannot play life like prey. You must burn the old you. You must wear the mask. You must choose respect over love. You must adapt like water. And when you fall, you must control the story of your fall until even your destruction becomes your legend. This is Machiavelli's way. Not the way of comfort, not the way of innocence, but the way of survival, power, and rebirth. Now the question is, are you willing to kill who you are today, to become who you were meant to be tomorrow? Drop your answer in the comments. Tell me, will you burn the old you, or will you stay the same, waiting for the world to swallow you whole? Life doesn't wait, and Machiavelli would say, neither should you.